fact that where you are in relation to France or Belgium, because a lot of pupils won't know where they are. You could even have, not just for the trip, for the actually when you get there, the whole itinerary of what time you're leaving, what service station you're stopping at, things like that. You could put you could even do it things like halfway through the journey, say, right now, there was games that even we was using on the way there, like that you could use to keep pupils occupied, like the charades games, or even make a quiz and have all the iPads linked up. I think they can link up through Bluetooth to each other, so you don't need to be in Wi-Fi. Just have a little quiz going on where you're like, right, quiz with your partner.
I think the good thing about having the iPads with you is you can save. I think the thing that would help with me if I was doing the teaching thing is it would save a lot of teacher talk. So if you said to them, right, I've got an iBook that's all sorted out for you, you don't have to read through it, I've just done a tutorial of what we're going to be seeing in the next plays. Within the next hour or whatever on the bus, make sure you watch this. It saves like trying to control a load of excited kids on the bus.
Yeah, a bit like
when
that
you can just say you can watch the tutorial. This is what you'll be doing in the lesson. This is a little bit of background about the next play, and you can sort of watch it at the level, sort of your own leisure. And even possibly, if you wanted, you could give it to them, like a sort of like a little presentation or a little talk for like half an hour before they come on the trip, just so it gives them a little bit of background. So it in a way saves the teacher time on the trip. So the kids, it just saves time and that sort of
stuff. So you have mentioned something already, but to clarify that, what other things might have you added to the iBook if you were doing it that Stuart didn't have?
Tutorials.
Tasks during the actual trip that you could do, like, right, within the first hour and a half of the trip, obviously you ain't going to get us to do that because we're students anyway, but if it was pupils, right, in the first hour and a half I want you to say, even if it's things you spot on the way, stuff like that, or anything, just to keep them occupied, and it keeps that like a bit of energy on the trip, and that they're always doing something. Could even add on it sleep time. So like again, pupils know that by the time it gets to 10:30, they're expected to be getting sleep. So it's not the teacher saying, right now, time to go to sleep, and they're like, well, I'm halfway through a song or I'm watching a film. They know that when it comes up to that time, that's the time it's going to stop.
When there are loud people playing pool at midnight, that sort of thing. Shocking. Can't believe we do. Okay, excellent. There are also things like there are widgets that you can get now for iBooks that allow people to add things themselves. You say 4 things you want to know.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult though if you use that book creator. I don't know. Would add a widget to that. I don't think it's possible,
no, you can't. No, you need something else. Okay, good. So when you're actually on the trip, you mentioned video and audio. Any other kind of and stills? Any other kind of data you might get pupils to gather when they were there? Let's assume they had devices or some devices between them.
You could, if you get a graph app. For creating graphs and charts. I've got one, but it's ridiculously complicated, but it's because it was a free one. I think if you paid for like a 69p one, that'd be easier. What's the huge one? Is it Thiepval?
Yep.
Where they had French and British troops.
Yep.
You could have done like a little mathematical, bringing in a bit of numeracy. What percentage of the French graves are unnamed? At this place, what percentage are British? Because you've got the exact same amount British, and that'd have been a good way of doing it. Because I did think of that when we were there, because it's a lot of unnamed French graves, and you compare the percentages, and then you could do that at every.
Nice idea.
But maybe not for some of them huge ones like Tynecock, but you could say take a sample.
But gathering some data from the gravestones or from the names,
I really enjoyed doing finding the individual. I thought that was a really good, because it gets you into it. You've researched it before. You know you're doing it about your family. When you turn up, it's like the culmination of it. Of all your work on the trip, rather than you gathering work on the trip. It's like the culmination of your work prior, and then when you're there in the trip, it's sort of like, it makes it that more special, really. But in terms of other activities you could do, no, I can't think of any.
So let's come out the other end then. So the third part of Kevin and I's model, we've got stuff you'd make beforehand, you've got data you'd gather while you're there, we know these overlap, and then things you would do. So 2 parts to this question. First of all, did you do anything with the data you were gathering whilst you were away?
Well, personally, I had a feeling that when we came back, Stuart was going to say to present it all, so I was sticking it all on an iBook as I went along, and Helen were doing the same. So everyone was on the bus thinking, what are them two busy so-and-so's doing? And now they're regretting it. Apart from Alex and Chris, because they'll be using what I've done because we work as a group. So I was doing that, sticking it on the iBook after the iBook I created for the individual. Stuart said we're going to be creating an iBook when we get back, so I did that before I went. Had it all on the same one.
And again, you could do that okay with the device on the bus, and it was...
Yes, it is an app that's idiot-proof. It is actually idiot-proof, that book creator. It's so easy to do, and for what it is, putting photos, video in, you can enlarge the video, so you could have it there, enlarge it. It's brilliant. Anyone can do it, and it's not too complicated, like you say with widgets and things like that. It's brilliant. It's really good.
Were you doing things like editing any of the video or the photographs you took?
Yeah, we had to do a lot of editing of our videos, didn't we?
Yeah, we did editing of the video.
Used iMovies, didn't we? We stuck
And I suppose on a very basic level, it's just like the pictures that you've taken in the day and things like that. You delete some of them on the trip. But I think in terms of actually adapting the information while we were there, I don't think I would have particularly wanted to do it, because you've got a lot to take in generally.
Right.
You know, I mean, you're going around Belgium, you're going around France, you're looking at these towns. You're going out for a meal, or you're doing whatever, and you stay in the hotel. You know, you've got things going on that are new to you anyway. I think even I wouldn't have wanted to actually had to adapt the information while I was there. I don't think. I think I prefer to do it when I got back, but that's just me. I think.
Okay.
So I also used a photo editing app, to crop them, because there was quite a top to people's heads sometimes, or like that erasure to get rid of a background of certain things. So yeah, quite handy.
That's smashing. Okay, let's just imagine you've got a group of children, let's say 30 children for the sake of an argument. You're taking away, and you've just got 1 or 2 iPads. What might you do?
Well, first of all, I think Chris would agree is create an iBook like Stuart did, for them to read and know what they're doing. How many iPads?
So how would if you just have 1 or 2 iPads? If you 1 or 2 iPads, or you've got 30 kids, so how might you use that on your bus?
Well, do you have a screen on the bus?
Okay.
So if you could link the iPad to the screen, then you've just got like a mobile PowerPoint, haven't you?
Okay.
Really? Yeah. So I mean, you can show videos, you can go show clips like that. I mean, that's one way of doing it.
And whilst you're on the trip with just 1 or 2 devices.
What you could also do is, like Chris said with the video, to brief them on what we was doing at each place. You won't be able to do it before each place, but on the way there, you could go through every person with each iPad and they just sit with the partner with their headphones in, listening to what you're saying. You're briefing them about the day's places that we're going to.
Pass the iPads round.
Yeah, it's like if you've got 2 going through 15, if it's a 2-minute thing, 30 minutes, that's less than the journey anyway.
Right, let's extend it out then. Let's say you've now got enough for 1 iPad per small group, so every 4 or 5 pupils. What might you do with them?
Oh, I mean, with ours, the interview and the documentary filming thing, you could do that. So I mean because we really enjoyed that. That was really fun. And also you could do. I mean, you could just have it as a point of reference, so you could still have an iBook for that group and be like, this is your group's activity. And even looking around the museums and looking around the cemeteries and things like that, you can give the group a task. So you can say, 2 people in your group, you go and find this. 2 people in your group, you go. So you can use it like that.
I think
you could take photos on
the
it.
Documentary, you could do.
It'd be good for group
the
presentations as well.
Tour guide thing as well. That might be better for some schools as well. To maybe not do a documentary, but to do a tour guide, as if you're delivering a tour guide of the battlefield. So if that's that group's iPad for the full time, the whole thing could be doing a tour guide, and then not saying that this one you're doing this one you're doing this. You could give them a checklist of saying each place, you need to do something at each place, and they tick off when they do it, and then you have a separate list of things they need to do. So they need to talk about amount of percentages of unnamed soldiers, things like that, but they can do that at any different thing, so then that's them personalising and deciding when they want to do it.
You've got a series of tasks they have to do.
Just a checklist, just tick them off.
Okay, and then I guess the extreme end of that is they've got a device each. What would you do with them?
I don't think you could do
everything
you discussed. Individual research projects then come in. So I mean, you could do what we did. Research an individual. You can do individual movies, individual documentaries. You can get them recording stuff.
Video diary of your experience. You could just get them at the end of each day or halfway through the day. Just a little video diary, what they've done. A good idea might be to say how tired they are. I'm quite tired now. And then at the end of it, you could pose a question. Now, think how tired you are traipsing around. How do you think people felt living? Because that's one of the few ways you could maybe bring in empathy. Because when obviously people was saying they were tired on the bus on their way home, I was thinking to myself, well, yeah, it's all relative. Look where we've just been, and that might be a good way of bringing in actually. It's not that bad after all. Yeah. Look at what they had to go for.
I remember kids on the end of days, oh, I'm starving. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. And to finish off then, just that, any problems that you had with the technology?
Not really, no. Like, we're all relatively alright at doing the filming stuff. We're alright at taking pictures. It's just, I mean, for me, because I never was into iPads at all before we did this, so it's getting into the culture of the machine in terms of like, so like on each device, it's, you know, like, I mean, simple things just like touching to write, you know, like tapping it once. Once you get that, you feel like you can like feel around the way like most apps, like everything's kind of set up. So I didn't have any problems.
I think that's one thing that'll put schools off, and you'll probably find when you go, Kevin, is the fact that it's something that the students will be better with than the teachers. So the teachers will feel less confident with an iPad because the students probably know more about it.
Yeah.
But the flip side to that is, a teacher could say to a class, right, we're taking an iPad with us, what could we do while we're on the trip? And then that's saving you a job, and you think, that's a good idea. How would you do that? Does everyone know how to do that? Nice one, I don't even need to tell you. That's the thing, it's something, although it's difficult, like you've shown it as well, like you were terrible, didn't have a clue.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And then now, you soon pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I would find difficult with something like that is just planning. I would feel iffy, I think if it was me, like planning for the Wi-Fi to work in areas where I knew that the Wi-Fi was.
Yeah.
So I would, you know, because if there's like a complicated code to put in or whatever, that would be
Yeah.
the potential issue. But actually, in the Clothall Museum and all that sort of stuff,
Everyone got
the Wi-Fi was absolutely fine. So.
But you'd be confident the other way around, just that anything you said to kids, like use iMovie or you take photographs or use video, that's so easy.
Even if you've not used it before, you learn how to use it. Like I've never used iMovie before this course, but then straight away, you don't need to make it look seamless. Like you had a bit in the video where you got annoyed, didn't you, and swore.
Yeah.
I was able to edit that out, but even if you can't edit that out, it's not a massive problem. You can still just have stuff flowing into it. It doesn't have to be perfect.
I mean,
as long as there's
that's the
enough
thing
problems.
about it really, is that they will be able to gather the information. It's just whether they'll be able to edit it effectively.
Yeah.
But I mean, that can be done when you get back, so it's not really a problem.
Anything that I've not covered that you're burning to say?
No, not really.
No? Okay, brilliant.